"We came because of the intensity of the bombing," said Abu Muhammad, a 32-year-old farmer who had left his cows, sheep and farm equipment to join thousands of others fleeing to Douma, further into the rebel enclave. "It was a miracle that we made it here," he said, speaking of the heavy air strikes. As for his former hometown of Beit Sawa, it was totally destroyed. "Burned," he said. Defeat in eastern Ghouta would mark the worst setback for rebels since the opposition was driven from eastern Aleppo in late 2016 after a similar campaign of siege, bombing and ground assaults. MSF said on Thursday the offensive had killed 1,005 people and injured at least 4,829. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a war monitoring group in Britain, says 915 civilians have died in the last 18 days, including 91 on Wednesday. The pro-Damascus commander, who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to talk to the media, confirmed a report by the observatory late on Wednesday that the enclave had effectively been sliced in two. But Wael Alwan, the Istanbul-based spokesman for Faylaq al-Rahman, one of the main rebel groups in eastern Ghouta, denied that the territory had been cut in half. "No," he said in a text message when asked if the report was correct. Another rebel spokesman, Hamza Burkhadar of the Jaish al-Islam group, said in a tweet on Thursday that insurgents had regained some positions in a counter-attack. The observatory reported heavy fighting on several fronts. A military media unit run by the government's ally Hezbollah also reported that the army had taken the village of Hash al-Ashari and a military base near Aftaris, both in the southern part of the enclave. In northern Syria, rebels began to bombard two government-held villages besieged by insurgent forces, killing 2 children, the observatory reported. Plans to send an aid convoy to Ghouta on Thursday were postponed, the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, and the United Nations said. "We are dying of hunger and our children are dying of hunger. Have pity on us," said a woman reached in Douma by a voice messaging service, who identified herself as Mahmoud. Syrian state news agency Sana reported that a second safe route out of eastern Ghouta, along with one near Douma, had been opened in the southern part of the enclave. Russia's defense ministry said on Wednesday some rebels wanted to accept the proposal to evacuate. So far rebels have dismissed it in public and vowed to fight on. Battles raging. Syria's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva, Hussam Allah, told the UN Human Rights Council on Thursday the assault targeted terrorist organizations in accordance with international humanitarian law. Rescue workers and opposition activists in eastern Ghouta have accused the government of using chlorine gas during the campaign. The government firmly denies this. Damascus and Moscow have accused rebels of planning to orchestrate poison gas attacks in order to draw blame onto the Syrian government. A Syria-focused medical aid group said there were reports from doctors of a chlorine attack on Wednesday evening. Local rescue workers said gas had affected 50 people. The opposition-run rescue service said 2 of its rescuers were killed when their ambulance was hit last night, adding its teams were hampered from reaching many victims under rubble. The narrow point linking rebel territory in north and south parts of eastern Ghouta is all within the range of government fire and impossible for insurgents to cross, meaning the enclave has in military terms been bisected, the commander said. A rebel fighter with Jaish al-Islam, one of the main factions in eastern Ghouta, said intense fighting was underway.